and welcome to What the Tech. I'm your host, Rolando Rosas, and on today's episode, we're talking about bringing your own devices to the office, specifically headsets. But before we get to all that, and we jump into the meat and heart of what we got to talk about, I got to bring on the other half of the show. That's
What's up?
David Kelly.
Rolando,
Whoa!
nice to
Look
see
at
you,
you.
man. Nice
Looking
shirt.
good. Wait a minute. How did we end up with the same coordination today? I know I didn't call you. I didn't text you. You didn't. This is the first time we talked, so
It's about time our wardrobe kind of matched a little bit. I'm either coming in like I'm going golfing, and you're coming from a big client meeting. So, little Men in Black here. You're a little
right.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah,
Of course,
is that
I'm Will Smith.
You're the taller one, so that makes sense.
That's right.
Not
That's
the
right.
color. You're the.
Hey, so really excited about this episode. We were
Me too.
talking about the popularity of headsets that was kind of forced upon people. We think
Right.
a lot of folks are now maybe they'd never used headsets before. Now they are. We're hoping that they see the benefits of being hands-free. But hey, like we were saying, they're going back into the office. Those desk phones are still going to be there. So now
Yeah.
what?
It's as we've been talking to other people, we're hearing a bunch of things from everybody's going back to office with the devices they have to maybe a combination of getting some new stuff and keeping some of the old. It's just all over the place. But what we're consistently hearing is that more people are going to be going to the office. That's for sure. And as those folks start going back to the office, many of those, like before the COVID situation over a year ago, a lot of folks have always asked about taking whatever they bought back to the office. And I was thinking about this before we went on air that, before COVID, a lot of people just bought consumer grade devices, the $20 and $30 device that they got at a big box store or something like that. And in the past, we just had to tell them, you're out of luck, pretty much. That's nothing we could do. But a lot of the people now, over the last year, were given office grade devices that they could take back to the office, but they're finding, wait a minute, I can't plug it back in, or my phone doesn't have the interface, or I have bought a wireless and now I can't use it because my phone doesn't have Bluetooth in it, all of these things. And I think in today's episode, we're going to nail down how to get that done if you have a corded USB device as well as a Bluetooth device. So I'm excited to bring that forward so a lot of folks can just say, hey, this is what I can take. I can make it work, and we're going to show you how. So stick around to the end because we're actually going to demo that device and how to get it done with both a wireless and a corded USB headset.
That's great. And Rolando, we're going to show the people what we learned. You and I are very curious, so we were mixing and matching different pieces, doing some tests on different telephones. But hey, before we get into that, I know that we always like to do a trivia question of sorts. So why don't we throw that up and see what is in store for our viewers?
Okay. I think we have two truths and a lie. Yes, we do. Two truths and a lie.
These.
You want me to read it or you want to read it?
Go for it.
All right. So here we go. Two truths and one lie. Let's start with number one. The term jiffy from the expression in a jiffy is actually a unit of time. Number two, YouTube was originally a dating site with the slogan "Tune in, hook up." That sounds a little precarious. Number three, the QWERTY keyboard was designed for speed and efficiency. Boy, I don't know. I'll have to think about that one as we go through.
You know what? My brain is moving to this emoji. It's just like, can we go through life without knowing the answer to the two truths and a lie? Very interesting. So we'll check that out at the end of the show.
Very good one, Ori. All right, so let's jump right into it. But before we get into it, I want to remind you today, if you want to support us, you want to show us the love, hit the buttons, the bells, the whistles, all of that stuff. Because when you do, it lets us know we're on the wrong track or the wrong track or the right track. Or if you've got comments, you want to see something else down the line, let us know, because we like to hear from you, the audience who's watching us, whether it's live or on the playback. So go ahead. And you know what, Dave? When we also release nuggets throughout the week, if folks have not subscribed, they won't know what we released because there's stuff we released that's not part of the podcast.
And I'll tell you, the stuff that we do release is pretty valuable. We've both been in this game for over 20 years apiece. There's a lot that we have to share. Absolutely.
And I love
So,
sharing knowledge with folks. Well,
so that brings us into our topic.
it does. And Giancarlo's chiming in. Giancarlo says YouTube as a dating site. Well, we're going to find out, Giancarlo. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Someone
Dave
has
doesn't know.
experience with it. It's like, that was the first one.
I have a friend that told me about it's the swipe addiction. Swipe right and swipe left. So maybe Giancarlo knows about that. YouTube was never a swiping site, right? But who knows?
Swiping was not a. I don't know. I'm too out of touch.
Yeah, man. We're not in the we're not the kids anymore, right?
No. So we're talking about bringing your own device. All right, this is kind of a played out term. Specifically, what we're talking about here is bringing your own headset, but it could apply to headsets or speakerphones that folks had either purchased or were provided headsets to work from their computers. So everyone got sent home in March, and they had to get something to connect. Most people weren't bringing their tried and true desk phone. That desk phone stayed in the office, and everybody got some sort of soft phone on their computer, right?
And no, go ahead.
Headsets, corded headsets, and Bluetooth wireless headsets were the mainstay. And then, of course, speakers. So real good quality devices. You and I, Rolando, we always talk about the value of these over embedded, speakerphones or embedded hand receivers. So now everyone's going back to the office. They have their tried and true desk phone that's still there. And they're coming to us and they're saying, well, how do I do this? How do I connect it? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We have the hardware. We've done some testing. So Rolando, I'm going to pass this back over to you.
Okay.
Wonderful. And if you want to announce the product.
All right. So the easiest way to do this is talk about that there's an interface device, and we're going to go to the close-up cam in a moment. But at the moment, what I want to just talk about is that when you have a device, I'm going to jump the gun a little bit here. I'm going to show it here on my main shot. This device is a device made by Plantronics. It's a fairly simple device. As you can see, it's got two buttons on it, so it's not complicated. But what trips up a lot of people is on the telephone side. So let's first talk about bringing this device to an office where you have a telephone as one of the ways that you communicate. So if you're using a telephone today, the biggest problem has been if you have a USB or a corded headset like Dave was talking about, a corded headset, and a corded headset that is a USB type of headset needs to be connected. Just like if you're using a PC, it needs a USB interface. Some phones, very few phones today, actually have a USB interface. So in order to get around that, a device like the one I just showed you, which is the Plantronics MDA 220, has an interface that's USB. And so you can easily plug in a corded headset like this. This is just a standard headset that has a USB connector on it, like so. And it would connect into what I just showed you. And we'll have a close-up for it at the end when we show you how it works. The other situation when it comes to headsets that have been purchased over the last year is on the Bluetooth side. And many people may recognize this particular Bluetooth I'm going to show you. It's one of the more popular ones right now. It's the Plantronics 5200. The Plantronics 5200 UC or something similar to that. It could be headphones. Now, when you want to use this with a phone that is not a Bluetooth phone, and most of them don't have Bluetooth, this will come in handy. And this device actually pairs with something like this. And we've talked about it in our previous broadcast, the importance of a Bluetooth dongle. So Plantronics makes a Bluetooth dongle, the BT600, this particular one that I have in my hand. And you would connect it into You would connect it into, and look, my son, he wants to talk about it. I don't know if you can hear him, but he wants to chime in, and jump in as a third member of the broadcast today. Hey, such is life when you work and do everything from home, like we have been doing the last year and a half. So, what I was saying, so Bluetooth devices, those can totally work on phones that are non-Bluetooth phones. But what you need in this case are two things. Like I said, Dave, you need that dongle and you'll need that MDA 220. And that will allow you to connect this headset that millions of people have purchased over the last year and a half and take that back into the office. Now, what we could also talk about, is that the right device? Is the environment correct? But if the bottom line is you really determine to take this device back or some other Bluetooth device, you will need a dongle if your phone does not have Bluetooth built in, which most of them do not. So that's one quick, easy way to remember. USB devices will work with this device, and so will Bluetooth devices as long as you have a dongle. And if you did not purchase a dongle, we have them available on our website on Global Tech, or if you shop Amazon, we have an Amazon store. We have those available, but you'll need those two things at a minimum in order to get that to happen. All right, Dave, did I cover that?
Yep. So,
Okay.
and also, are we? So we'll do a demonstration where we'll show you how this actually connects into a desk phone. So this device, the MDA 220. Just to quickly recap, this will allow you to take your USB corded headset or your Bluetooth headset with a USB dongle and allow you to connect it into your telephone. Now, the other thing that we're going to show you is that you can also still have connectivity into your computer. The end result is you're taking the headset that you already bought. You've used it at home and you like it. You bring it into the office, you connect it into your desk phone and into your computer. So now you can have your wireless or your hands-free calls in either of those two devices. Still participate on all your Zoom calls, still use your desk phone when it's convenient for you. And that's the value in this particular device, and you're gonna love it. All right, Rolando, let's move it along.
All right. Another thing that you just you mentioned is that I just blanked out for a moment. So if you have, this is something that not as often, but people have always asked as well, is can I use one headset for two things? And the answer is yes. So if you have a Bluetooth device or you have a USB device, you can use one headset for two devices, like Dave said, a computer connected on one end and a regular telephone. I'm just going to grab it here off the table. I'm just going to, just for demonstration purposes, you can use a phone with it, right? There's connectors on the back that are made for this device, as well as connectors on the device itself so that you can connect it into your PC. So it solves several problems. One, the issue of bringing your own device to the office is solved. You can do that. You can make it compatible with two devices at once so that you can go between a PC and a computer, a PC and a desk phone. And third, the fact that you have Bluetooth is not an obstacle, and it has been for many years. The fact that you have a Bluetooth device was an obstacle in the past. That problem is also solved as long as you have a dongle. So those three things. Now, it's important to note that I've got something else in my brain. I have two thoughts in my brain. So, but let's just go to something else. One of the things that Dave was mentioning that's important to know when it comes to Bluetooth dongles and using it on this device, we did some tests earlier in the week, and as long as you have a Bluetooth dongle made by one of the major manufacturers, Plantronics, Poly, which that's now called Poly, EPOS, which is formerly Sennheiser, Jabra, and am I missing one? I know there's one more in there. I know there's another one and Bose has another one as well. They have a dongle type of device. Any of the four major manufacturers will work with this device, although it's made by a different manufacturer. They may even say, Dave, we don't support it, or we don't really want you to do that. But here at Global Tech, we're nonpartisan. Where we look at all the ways that you can use a device, even though the manufacturer may not want that because they want just Plantronic parts on Plantronic devices. It is a universal device that can be used. So if you have specific questions about that, or maybe your particular situation, we'll just send us a comment and we'll be glad to answer it for you. G asks, is it easy to switch? Sometimes we get simultaneous calls and we need to transfer from phone to PC ad hoc. Good question, G. I like that question. You want to tackle that, Dave, or you want me to tackle that?
Listen, the interface is so simple on the top end. There's two buttons. It has a computer and it has the desk phone icon. We could review all the LEDs and how those are communicating to you, but there is some pretty intelligent feedback, but very easy to switch between those two devices. Very simple. So Rolando, we have and I think I have mine here. The very front of this is nothing more than a USB port. So this is where the user would plug in their headset. The back of this, again, as I described, it has a standard RJ9er. That goes into your telephone. And then there's a USB that goes to the other side. And then switching, you can probably hear it click. Very basic to go in between the two devices. So that's the connectivity piece. That's the solution piece. This is nothing brand new. It's sometimes an overlooked accessory that we want, that we feel now is probably the most important time to re-educate people about it. The folks at Poly are the only ones that I'm aware of that make something to solve this particular problem.
Okay, I'm ready. I've got that set up. So what we've got, and we're gonna show the folks, Dave, exactly what you're talking about, which is the MDA 220. Let me move this phone off the desk for right now. We'll get to that in a moment. So this is a really simple device, and what we want to do is take on the USB side. It comes with the USB connector. All right, so it's really straightforward there. That'll go into the USB, and then it comes with a cable. And this cable, let me scooch over a little bit and bring my microphone over. This USB, and then you have a cable that has two ends on it. All right, this end goes into the device, into this device, and this end will go plugging into the telephone. So you'll simply take this device, which is the thicker device, plug it in the back. There's only one slot for it. And then you have two options on connecting this to your phone. If your phone has a headset port, and that's why I needed this as a prop. I'm going to look at the back of this. Is just a Yealink phone, but there's many phones that have this on the back of the phone. You have here an extra port usually, and I'm going to bring this up closer so you can see it a little better. There we go. You can see that this has a headset icon on it, and on the bottom.
So move your hands a little more in frame. Pull it in a little bit close, not so much closer. Move it to the right a little bit. Well, no, sorry, your other right. Maybe it's my left.
Oh, I see. Hold on.
All right. So there's the ports right there. There's a picture of a hand receiver, and then there's a picture of a headset. You could probably get it into frame a little bit better, Rolando. Nope, you go almost.
There we go.
All right. So for the users, those are the two most common headset jacks. You have your hand receiver plugged into the bottom one there, and then the top one has a picture of a headset, and that's where Rolando's connecting the other end of this cord.
Right. So in this case, because we have the headset port, it makes it a lot easier, because usually phones like this have a headset button, and will that come into play in a moment. So I'm going to plug that in on the back of that phone. All right. And now this is set. Nothing else needs
that.
That's simple. Now, from the telephone side, every phone is there are thousands of phones on the market. But what we want to point out here on this switch, it's got some intelligence built in on the back. And on the back of here of this phone, you've got some knobs and switches. And this only controls how you sound as a person to the other side, meaning when you're talking and somebody wants to hear you more clearly or louder, it comes with a knob. And I'll move this up to the camera. It comes with a knob. Let's see if I can get that in here. Hold on. It comes with a knob, and this controls the microphone and how you sound to other people. And 1 being the softest, 6 being the loudest.
That's
so if you have a soft voice, maybe you need to crank it up a little bit more. 3 or 4 is normal. 6 is if you really have an issue. Maybe you've got something wrong with, maybe it's hard to speak. 6 will really crank up your voice quite a bit. Now, on the left side, we've got several letters, A through G. Can you see that, Dave?
I can see that. It looks good.
Okay, A through G. So A through G are different settings to optimize the audio for phones. It's a real simple rule. All you do is make a phone call, start on A. That's going to work for most phones. There are some phones, maybe like a Cisco phone or an Avaya phone, maybe a Tone Commander, maybe a Mitel phone. They may require different settings. And one setting, when you get audio, you don't ever have to change it. So this is something that you're going to do the first time around, and it's over with. You'll never have to do it again. So just start with A. If you make a call, sounds good, people can hear you, nothing else needed to do. And that's going to be probably like 80% of the phones out there. Those 20%, you just slide it over to setting number 2 or B or whatever. So you just slide it here. I put it on B. All right. And that didn't work. We're going to just keep on sliding. And it gives a little bit of resistance as you slide it through. You can see right there, it's on C, and so on and so on. And one of those settings will work on your phone.
Listen, that's great. So what this is a universal device. I can't there's one telephone that comes to mind, one type of telephone that this will not work on. This device is not compatible with any wireless residential consumer-based telephones. They don't have the connections for it. Other than that, this will work with everything that I'm familiar with. Every phone, whether it's 15 or 20 years old or even something that's brand new, this device is basically, it's universal and it is its own sort of amplifier. And then what is also really nice is that you can individually control your transmit volumes. You saw that from the demo. And then also the receive volume. So you can really tweak this for the type of user that you are.
And I think of what I want to do here, if you give me a second, Dave, I'm going to plug it in so that we can light up the controls on it. So just give me a second.
Now, when we plug this device in, because it is an amplifier, it requires power, and it can extract power when plugged USB into your computer. So you don't need to have an external AC power taking up some residence in your workstation area. This thing, it gets its juice when plugged into the computer, and then being able to have the buttons and go in between, it gives it that multi-use capability.
Right. So Dave, what we've got here, let me just focus in here. All right. So what we've got is the ability to make these buttons go up. Now, one of the things that I was noticing in getting ready for this, even though I've got it connected to the computer right now, nothing will light up until you have it plugged in on the USB front. So on the front, I forgot to mention, is the USB slot. So if you've got a USB headset, you're going to plug it right here in the front. Or if you've got the Bluetooth dongle, it'll also go in the front there. So I'm just going to take that corded headset and I'm going to stick it right in there. Okay. And what happened now? Because this is live and now it worked on the practice session and now it won't give me that option.
So
you know why? I've got it plugged in. I've got it to our broadcast hub.
So one of the things might also be that you had changed the on the slide selector. You had moved that, so that maybe put it.
No, you'll see right now. Hold up a second. Hold up 1 second. No way. I've got it plugged into the wrong USB. It's a USB. This is the demo USB. So let me do one other thing. Let me try one more thing.
The real Tommy Lee Jones wouldn't have made this error.
You know what? When you're live, you don't have any retakes.
No, it's okay. We're not shy. There it is.
Okay, there we go. All right. So the second time around now, and we have a question. I think I saw a few questions flash by. Dave, you want to take that question? What?
I'll take it. So Reen is asking if there's a way for this device to store power temporarily. So that's an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
When this product was manufactured in R&D, I don't know if those power banks were popular or even available. If they were available, they were probably very expensive. You know, battery technology has changed so much over the years, making things more affordable.
And it doesn't have batteries in it, if that was the question. It has no storage capability.
Right, so it's not storing, but I will tell you what, this is something that I think that question is so interesting. If there was a next gen version of this product, maybe it could incorporate something like that. So, great question, Reen. Thank you very much for asking.
That's right. Thank you. And now I don't know on the monitor when I look at it, I see that the LED, although it's lighting up here, it doesn't show up green on the monitor, but that's okay. It lights up. It will only light up once you plug something in. So in this case, I plugged in the USB corded, and now I can toggle between PC mode, and I've got it set up so that the PC is by default the device of choice. And if I'm talking on my PC, I'm listening to music, I'm doing a Zoom call, I'm doing a Meet, any of those type of things, it's going to be routed. Now, let's just say I get a call that comes in through the phone. What I'll need to do is a two-stepper. I'll need to press and you can see the icon lit up over here on this end. So now it's ready to take the call. And in the case of this particular phone, I've removed the handset only just to make it simple for this setup. I only have to hit the headset button. That's all that's required. I hit the headset button. That allows me to answer on the phone. I push the handset receiver button on the MDA 220 so that it also is in telephone mode. And now I'm talking to somebody on the phone. So let me just walk through that again. Press the headset button on this phone and make sure that this is lit up for the handset receiver. In this case, phone. It's the phone mode, telephone mode. And now I can talk to somebody. And when I'm done, I just hang up and then I go back and I'm on PC mode. Now, this does something really interesting so that if I want to essentially have this kind of where it's able to have the call, it's not really call on hold, but it lets me know that I still can be connected back into PC mode, or I should say telephone mode. You see that it's still flashing. There's nothing wrong if that happens and you've already hung up the call. All you got to do, if you want to go back to telephone mode, you can see now I'm back in telephone mode. I want to go back to headset, I should say PC mode. You see it jumped back by just pressing that. So I can press it from here, right? And it'll just switch back and forth. Very simple. Very simple. So it really depends on what mode you want to be in. Are you going to be using more telephone mode first or PC mode first? So you have that option. So you're good to go there. Now, Dave, there is another setup that I did want to talk about, and that is the Bluetooth. But before we get to Bluetooth mode, I wanted to just also clarify what this little black box is here. This black box is for those phones that do not have a headset jack. So in that scenario, what you'd be doing instead of plugging it in on the back, and this particular phone does have a headset jack, but let's suppose it did not. What you'd be doing is the following. For those phones that had no headset jacks, you'd be plugging it right here where it says where it shows the receiver, right in there, okay? And you just put it right in there. And then what you do with the curly cord, which I just dropped, the curly cord, which goes to your handset receiver, you just plug it right in there. Boom. And the operation of this will be slightly different because we have no headset button. The only way, and I'm just grabbing another handset, the only way to operate it at this time would be to make sure that you take the receiver off hook, put it on the side, and then you would still press the telephone button on the MDA 220. And now you're talking to the person on the other side. You're done with your call, hang up, and you could stay in telephone mode if you want, if you're waiting for another call, or go back to PC mode. And now you're listening to your Pandora or your Spotify or your podcast or whatever you want to do with your computer. All right, Dave, did I miss anything there on the telephone side of things that you want to cover?
No, fantastic. So what you're telling everyone that's watching is that this device, this can work with a headset jack or the hand receiver jack, which means it's going to work with everything out there as long as it has one or the other. And for you NEC phone users, I know that there's a ton of NEC phone users that are out there. Listen, this is the best solution for you. It's inexpensive. It's going to work with those phones. And if you contact us, I'll show you how you can set this up so that you don't have to do any sort of programming. You don't have to call anybody. We support everything that goes out of here. We have a team of people that can help once you buy the product to get it up and running. So please let us know if you have any questions about compatibility. You're going to like what you hear.
I love it, Dave. The last way to use this, Dave, is with the Bluetooth side of things, which is where many folks probably have the biggest questions. I want to take my, and fill in the blank, Bluetooth headset to the office. How can I do that? So let's show them how to do that. All right. So now in this scenario, we're also going to assume we still have the phone as one of those things you want to connect it to. Okay. So you can go back, if you're listening to the playback, go back and listen to how we connected the telephone to the MDA 220. We're going to take the Bluetooth dongle and we're going to pop that in right into the front. Okay. Bam. Now you see that it'll flash, it'll recognize, and in this particular Bluetooth dongle, we got a little flash of purple going on. I don't know if we can pick it up on camera a little bit. Yeah, you see it's flashing.
Can see it. Nice camera.
Yeah, it's a Poly P5. And that tells us that the device is active on this particular. Now, I don't have it paired right now to the 5200 because this I just don't have it connected at the moment. But if you have this paired now to this device, you are able to talk through this device into your into your desk phone or your PC. All right. Now, if you need help, and you know what we could even do, Ori, we could probably put in a link for folks that are watching us later on how to pair the Bluetooth dongle to a device like this Plantronics, because this is a very popular one. I'm sure that'll come up. So if you're watching us, come back to this a little bit later and we'll insert how to pair a Bluetooth dongle to that, or we'll have a link on how to do that. All right. But needless to say, you're able to use this particular device. And if it was a Jabra headset, you'd be able to do the same as long as you have the Jabra dongle. And I happen to have one here in front of me. So I just showed that to you so that you know what that looks like. This is the Jabra dongle. You can see it's slightly different looking than the Plantronics one. I'll insert that into here, and there we go. And this one lights up. See it lights up a little bit blue. It starts blinking blue. All right. And usually that happens on the Jabra when it's looking for the other device to pair. All right. All of these Bluetooth dongles, if it's the Jabra, if it's the EPOS, which is Sennheiser, or the Poly, which is also Plantronics, all of them also have mobile apps that you can use with your iOS device or Apple if you download it through the Apple Store, where you have additional instructions on how to pair. It walks you very easily, and that's something we could throw in there. We may not have it right now in the description, but we'll also make sure we have it there for you to go to that is something I would recommend. I have it on my phone. I would highly recommend that if you're going to go down that route, so that you can get updates, you can get pairing instructions right on your mobile device, and you probably won't need to talk to it. It just walks you right through all of them do. So that's it, Dave. When it comes to connecting a Bluetooth headset, whether it's this Plantronics one, whether it's a Jabra one, or whether it's some other Bluetooth device, as long as you have that dongle. I just want to restate that you must have this dongle, otherwise it will not work. Because this particular unit, the MDA, does not have any built-in Bluetooth devices, but the USB port will allow you to utilize that Bluetooth dongle made by that manufacturer.
So, Rolando, I just want everyone to understand, I was so excited after we did these tests. I want everyone to know that we tested those 3 major brands. All of the dongles worked. We did multiple headsets. We even tested them on multiple desk phones. Now you can truly take that device and bring it into the office. You can be wireless or you can be corded, depending on what you have. If you're looking at bulk purchases, please give us a call. We'll see what we can do for you. But we also wanted to talk about that wireless range. So now we're in our house. We have a Bluetooth connection, but Bluetooth is kind of low power. You will get some wireless range. You'll absolutely have your hands free, the volume being hands free and ergonomically correct. But now you might add some mobility to it. Maybe you experienced having a short range phobia at home when you couldn't necessarily go all the way into your kitchen. And Rolando and I have done videos on this USB dongle talking about how it needs a line of sight, obstruction free, to really get the best range. So keep that in mind when you're setting this up. The MDA 220, so it does have some cables here, so you can position this in a particular fashion in your office so that the dongle is best line of sight. But Rolando, do you have anything to add on to that? All right. So what this is going to do is, because you have these cables, it's going to give you that freedom of putting it somewhere that's not, again, behind your desk, underneath your desk. Some people have said that that's the only USB port that they have. So this is freeing up, a connection. So now you have this, you can move it around. Now, Rolando, do you want to add anything with wireless range with Bluetooth?
Absolutely. My favorite topic. I love talking about this because people they contact us, let us know, hey, I get it really crappy, and that's putting it lightly. Crappy range with my Bluetooth devices. Now, as you could see on, if you go back up to the close-up cam, and let me see, looking at Giancarlo says here, are there any workarounds for the range? Yes, there are, and thank you, Giancarlo. There are several, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about right now. So with Bluetooth, just to give you a quick 10-second, Bluetooth is a short-range signal that is very prone to losing its signal when it doesn't have line of sight. Meaning, if I don't have this device, in this case, this is dongle, if this dongle doesn't see a line of sight with this Plantronics 5200 Bluetooth, it's going to drop. If some object gets in the way, it's going to drop. In drop, I mean lose the connection. And this is common. And I think we have another video where we've done, Dave, where we went on Amazon, and all of the 1-star complaints by a particular device, it's Jabra, it's Plantronics, all of them. The 1-star ratings are because those Bluetooth devices lose their connection. Even though somebody says, I'm 5 feet away. Well, here, let me point something out to you. So let's say we have this here, right? Oh, we already have one here. Okay, let's just, to keep it even here, let's just say we have our Plantronics device plugged in. All right, and I have this. Now, as you could see on my desk, let's just say I leave this here, right? This dongle may not have line of sight to where I am. And go over to where I'm at. Here, go to the main shot. It may not have a complete line of sight because down on my desk, I've got other objects kind of in the way. I may have a book. I may have, I don't know, let's put my cup. gonna put my cup in the way. All of this, even though I'm literally two feet away from this dongle, it will cause a problem. It will lower the signal quality from the Bluetooth device to this dongle. And you probably ask yourself, Dave, because I do, like, what the tech? What's that about? It's just physics. You can't overcome the physics. The antenna on this, I'm gonna get a little geeky here. So wait, let's do a pro tip. Ori? Woohoo! Pro tip. So, physics is quite it's hard to get around physics. I'm going to give you a quick 20-second on the physics on this. There's an antenna on this Bluetooth device, just like many Bluetooth devices that are, whether they're a headset, whether they're a speakerphone, whether they're a keyboard or mouse, if they all have Bluetooth built in, they have an antenna. And many times the antennas, you could see, this is a really small, it may be a little simple metallic strip that runs along in this case, the device itself, or whether it be a speakerphone or a keyboard that's wireless and Bluetooth. Those antennas need to have line of sight with this dongle. I'll just grab a different one with a dongle. And then you could see the dongle inside, it's so small, and it also has it uses an antenna to communicate back and forth, because these two things may have obstruction given their size and their form factor. You will be prone to losing a signal. But Dave, we've been working on a top secret, highly classified project for the last 2 years, where we have been trying to come up with a solution to help our customers, to those that are using headsets or even keyboards or mouse or other Bluetooth devices, to help you with this. Because yes, even within a few feet of distance, you will have sometimes connections dropping because of all these things. And you don't want to get rid of stuff on your table. Maybe, I don't know, Dave, I don't know what your workstation is like, but you may have different things. You may have your coffee mug. You may have the Bluetooth dongle may be underneath the table because that's where your computer tower is. It may be on. All of these things will screw you up when it comes to using these dongles. So we have a solution where, and I'm going to reach around. And you can go to the close-up on this one, Ori. We have a solution and you can see I've got a Bluetooth dongle plugged in. I'm just going to take it out. You can see I've got a Bluetooth dongle here, and this plugs into this particular, it's called the Blue Beacon range extender. And if you have questions and want to get this into your hands or in the hands of your folks that are going to be using Bluetooth, whether it's at home or in the office, this will help solve a major problem with connectivity, because now instead of the device, and you could see down here, I have the dongle. Instead of the antenna signal coming from down here, I can raise that. And if you go to go to my shot here, my solo shot, and I put that particular, I put this dongle up here above all of the clutter that's on my desk. And if I put it on the top of my monitor, or you see that laptop behind me, I put it on the top of the laptop. Now this acts kind of like a mini cell phone tower. So if you get the idea that a cell phone tower is usually high up, maybe 100 feet in the air, and it's got the transmitters usually at the very top of the tower to be able to get line of sight with cell phones. This is the same concept we're applying to Bluetooth. So whether you're using a headset like this one, or you have a keyboard that's Bluetooth, or you have a speakerphone, you can't really see it, it's off to the side here, a speakerphone that's also Bluetooth, this line of sight now allows you to get that wherever you are, wherever you're walking around your office. Now, Dave, with this particular range extender that we have, I have been able to use Bluetooth headsets that I normally could not get into the kitchen. Because in the kitchen there's a big metal refrigerator and there's walls and every time I would go into the kitchen, my connection would drop. No matter what headset I was using that was Bluetooth. With this, because now instead of having just like here where the Bluetooth signal is down here, usually if it's at a laptop or something like this, it's way up here and away from the clutter, away from the desks, away from the monitors, and now it's got line of sight when I stand up. I'm just gonna stand up, and the headset's on my head. It gets a signal all the way into the kitchen. So now I can go grab a bite. So if I if I wanted to leave the podcast and I got hungry and grab a bite, I had my headset, my Bluetooth headset on, I could still listen to the podcast. So that happened so many times, and I was so frustrated. I was like, we gotta do something. We're waiting. And over the years, Dave, you and I have been doing this for a long time. We haven't had any manufacturer that's really addressed this in a real way. And this is a way where, and then this will work on any of those again, Bose, Jabra, Plantronics, Poly, EPOS, Sennheiser, as long as they have a dongle that you want to use. And in this case, if I wanted to use that dongle with this particular MDA 220, you can, and it's a great optional add-on, so that if your primary purpose is to use your Bluetooth device and you want to be able to get a better range, you've had connections with the device or other things, this will not only give you better range, but it'll help that connection be stronger, so that all these other objects that may be laying around your desk, monitors, keyboards, and other things, don't interfere with the signal.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Rolando, give that name again. What are you calling this?
It's the Blue Beacon Range Extender, and we'll have some links on this particular podcast so that you can get it. You contact us. So if you're watching us live and you're thinking, well, how can I get one of those? We haven't put it up yet. You can get pre-orders. We're taking pre-orders for that right now. And we anticipate having shipments go out, I believe, sometime after the 4th of July.
That's exciting.
So that you can, whether you're rolling back into the office now or you're rolling into the office later in the fall, you can start pre-ordering it, and we'll start shipping it out this summer.
You know what, Milano, something that we need to also let our folks know is buy with confidence. We have a return policy. If we sell you something and it doesn't work the way as we're advertising, let us know. We'll do a return. It's not a big deal. But definitely give this thing a shot. The number one complaint with these Bluetooth headsets, as you've said, as everyone has been reading, listen, they want more range. They spend a lot of money for the product. This is a minimal investment that's going to greatly improve the products that you already bought. So please get in on the pre-order, get it while it's hot. If it doesn't work, let us know. We'll take a return, but we're very confident that you're going to be very impressed with both of these solutions. And man, when you put them together, you brought your device back into the office, you have great wireless range, you can still connect into Zoom. The solution is a no-brainer. So let us know how we can help you here at Global Tech.
That's great, Dave, and well summarized. And I got to tell you, it took some time to put all of this together, test all the different devices that it could work on, and it really does improve for me, especially for the last couple of months as we've been doing all the testing. It improves your quality of life. So if you're at home, you work from home, you're a remote worker, and you want to use this standalone, maybe with your PC, and you have your own Bluetooth device, it will improve how far you get, and you won't have to leave your headset at the desk and then come back, and hopefully that you don't get a call and all that. You just take your Bluetooth with you and you're good to go. We've got a couple questions here, Dave. Giancarlo wants to know, stupid question, does having multiple dongles inside a space create disruptions to the signal? Okay, that's a good question, Giancarlo. So let's take a stab at that from two perspectives. The home user using it at their home office, you probably may have one or two dongles. It should not create an interference. Once you go into the office and you have an environment where maybe you have 30, 40, 50, 100 different coworkers, then the situation can get a little tricky, because Bluetooth works on a 2.4 signal, and that signal, if a lot of folks are on that signal, you can have interference. Now, with some of the major manufacturers, they all have a free software that can allow these wireless devices and Bluetooth devices to work on a shorter frequency range. They can lower the power. There's a number of things you could do. But when it comes to Bluetooth, usually, and we've had Scott from EPOS. He told us the magic number is around 50, if I can recall. Is that right, Dave?
Yeah,
Somewhere in the
it was about, I think it was about 50. And what Scott was explaining was exactly what you were just hitting upon. There's software that the manufacturers have, so you can, let me say it differently. Rolando, all of these major brands have, they were thinking about that issue from the forefront, right? They call it density. They've had issues, or the question or the fear of hitting that wall where you have X amount in one facility. We always tout the engineering prowess for all of these manufacturers. They've put that intelligent control in so that you can lower it down, change from wideband to narrowband. So to answer the question, it is possible to hit that wall, but there's also solutions and configurations so that you can put more and more of these users in that area. So
what I wanted to do, Dave, is show folks that may be thinking of using this device, this MDA 220, with that, so they can see what that's like. So I'm going to take the one that's right on my monitor that I use, and we're going to actually show people what that looks like.
perfect. So what we're doing is we're connecting the Global Tech Blue Beacon Bluetooth extender. Is that the name? Blue Beacon Range Extender. Sorry. I'll get there. So great demo. So here we're showing
Okay. Yep.
it has
So
a USB connection, right?
right,
On the beacon.
right. So what I'm going to do is, this is how we were using it previously. I'm just going to take the dongle out. All right. Take them, just put it right there for right now. And I'm going to, let's take out the dongle that I was using. And we're going to plug this bad boy in right there
Perfect.
on this end. All right. Now, the other end, which is just your standard USB. And by the way, we have it in two formats. So for the purposes of the MDA 220, you'll want the USB-A version, because that's what's on the front of this, is a USB-A port. Just plug it in. And now this is your mini Bluetooth tower, so to speak. And this comes with a little hook, essentially, that has an adhesive on it, so that you can put it on the top of your monitor or your laptop, wherever you want, where it will be available to you in a line of sight. Now, for me, I've got a couple of different places, but you can't see my monitor. Actually, you know what? Right here, here's a monitor. So if I wanted to, there we go. Leave it.
Yep.
I would leave it right there, yeah, on the top
Perfect.
of my monitor. And now this bad boy can see signal between both sides. So like, you can't really see it, but on the other side of my monitor, there's other, living room and everything else that's over there, kitchen. I'd be able to get a signal over there because the Bluetooth dongle is above my monitor, and therefore there is no interference down below where it would normally be connected into, whether it's that MDA 220 or whether it's a laptop or some other computer where your signal is down another foot or two. And this is a 3-foot extender, so you can get some pretty good movement if wherever you got to put it up or snake it around the back. You'll be able to put it in a place where you're going to definitely get a much better signal when you're moving about, whether you're home or in the office.
Rolando, it's a game changer. Well done. Good job on that product. Really excited to
I'm excited.
get
I'm
the people
excited.
out there using it.
I'm excited. It solves a big problem for a lot of users, home users and office users, and doesn't break the bank either. So I'm really excited about that. I think we have another question. Love the questions. Keep them coming. On the softwares you mentioned, will it allow our IT support to support remote workers, or office operates on a half in office, half remote premise during quarantine? Okay, so I think I get where you're going. So the software, if we're talking about the Poly Lens or the Jabra Direct or EPOS Connect, I think is there. There's two softwares, usually one for cloud-based management, and that will allow you to manage all your fleet of devices if you had multiple devices. And then there's the desktop or the mobile apps that will allow you to configure the devices themselves. Now, with the cloud-based side of this, whether it's Poly or one of the other manufacturers, you would be doing it from a centralized PC that has visibility into the other devices. And with Poly, you can have visibility into all their entire lineup of, so the webcams, you can have visibility into visibility and asset tracking, by the way, into their webcams and headsets. So yes, so you could do a number of things on the mobile side, and on the PC it's local, so you can configure and do some things locally and do some advanced settings. And from the cloud-based side, it will manage an entire fleet of devices. All right, Dave, did I answer that right, or did you want to add to that?
No, you know what? It's such a deep. You need to take such a deep dive to explain all of them. And Rolando, we're actually working with Poly right now, and we're going to do a special episode focused on their lens product, and we should have a special guest that'll be joining us as well, so we can really give the users the real look of what that interface, how it works, and how to manage it. So I'm looking forward to doing that with them.
And Dave, we do have an episode where we did do the poly lens, working on like the Voyager focus and the advanced features on that. And we probably need to do a few more, because
Yep.
folks use different devices like that 5200 I was showing you and several others. But if you want to have, if you have a particular comment on that, and you have a particular headset in your particular organization, drop us a line, let us know. We'll probably push one out. We could get that out on Answer the Community.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Cool. Another question. Love the questions, Giancarlo. Will there be a problem with privacy if they access the devices remotely? So the only one, presumably, let's just say it's an organization and they've got 50 devices on that they belong to that particular organization or firm. Their IT manager would be the only one that has those type of controls. So they're the ones that would manage that, just like in an IT environment. In organizations that are larger or medium size, they're going to have it. They usually have asset tracking to some extent of devices that they send out to their employees. So it wouldn't be any different than that. Beyond that, if you have a specific question, Giancarlo, I would be, or some other particular person that's watching us, if you're an IT manager and you want to know more about that cloud-based management solutions for these devices, headsets, speakerphones, and such, reach out to us. We'd be glad to help you on that.
All right. Well, Rolando, wrapping this up, it seems like a real winner. The Plantronics, sorry, the Poly, formerly Plantronics MDA 220. This is the accessory that you need to take your headset that you fell in love with back in March when you started working at home, and you want to bring it back into the office, connect it into your desk phone, still have it connected into your computer for all your Zoom and video meetings that industry specialists say you'll continue to use. What a winner. And then we add in the Blue Beacon range extender. Wow, what a winner. Great two products, Rolando. That was good.
I love it. I love it. This is going to help a lot of people, and that's what we're about. We want to help you sound and look amazing, and that's what our mission is. And we want to do that in any way we can, with the devices and technology available to us. So if you have a particular question or you have a particular comment on what you're seeing today, I want to also remind you, go ahead, hit those buttons, hit the whistle, subscribe, get notified, because we release nuggets like Dave was talking about, the Lens app and other things through the week. We have our Answer the Community that we push out on YouTube, and those type of nuggets. If you want to make sure you get in on what's happening, you got to subscribe and get notified, Dave.
So, hey, before we wrap this up, let's close out our trivia. We always love these two truths and a lie. My mind has been, trying to figure out what it is. Ori, why don't you throw it back up? Listen, I got my guess, excuse me. Mm-hmm. So one of these is a lie, two are truths. The term jiffy, from the expression in a jiffy, was that actually a unit of time? YouTube and the dating site, I would be shocked. And the QWERTY keyboard was designed for speed and efficiency. I'm pulling myself back on this, Rolando, but I'm going to say that number 2 is the lie. That's my
number
idea.
2 is the lie?
Yep.
Ooh. This is such a curveball.
I was
Give me a
pretty.
sec.
All right. I was reluctant to even answer the question. I wish I could take my answer back. The way that these always go, Dave
The
never
lie.
knows.
Let me see the lie. The lie. The lie. These, Ori, I'm gonna give it to you. These are getting harder. They're getting harder. Before they were kind of softball ones. This is hard. I don't know. I don't know about the slogan. Dating site. The slogan. Of course, I'm thinking it's either 2 or 3. I'm thinking Jiffy's got to be a unit of time. I don't know because it's Jiffy, right? Time.
This is true.
Jiffy.
Wait, yeah,
So,
so
wait a
that's
minute.
true.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So
That's true.
I'll be there in a jiffy, 3.5
Okay.
minutes. What is these roughly 10 milliseconds?
Meaning
That's
that in physics world, it represents the amount of time it takes light to travel a distance in 1 centimeter. Thanks, Ori. Now I'm more informed about that. In a jiffy. So you can never get there in a jiffy.
that's interesting. All right. Then which is the other true statement?
We got to have a drum roll. Number 2 is true. Yes, number 2 is tune and hook up. Let's see. It says in 2005, Jod, I hope I'm pronouncing it, Jod Karim uploaded Me at the Zoo to his brand new dating website, YouTube. As a dating site, YouTube had very few users. It's hard to believe that now. It didn't give you the option to select videos. It didn't. Instead, it chose them at random. Wow. The server used to host the videos at $100 a month. No one used it. Founders offered women $20 each to upload videos of themselves to the fledgling site.
Very, very creepy. You know what love will do and where it led us.
Well, now you have all the apps for that. So
yeah, that was in
no need to-
05.
Oh my God. So number 3 is the lie. It was designed for speed and efficiency. The initial versions, the typewriters had few technical issues. The metal arms, which hold the characters, used to clash and jam if the keys were pressed in rapid succession. I still remember that. I still remember an old type. That shows how old we are. Most people probably haven't, unless you're as old as we are. Yes, that would happen, Dave. It would suck. And then the word processors.
Well, do you remember when you were with a regular keyboard, when you would go to fix them when they were jammed up, you'd always get ink on your fingers. Because if you were touching that to move it,
the ribbons and whatnot that were in there. That is so true, man. Yeah, word processors then were next, and that got away from all of the having to undo things that got jammed. And then I remember the first computer I used was a Dell in school. It was a Dell
I don't
PC.
remember the first computer, but I do remember having a word processor. It was Brother, and man, it had a little LCD digital display, so you could type out the word and then hit a button, and then the physical ratcheting of the ink and the like the keyboard piece kind of came after. Pretty interesting.
All right. Thanks, Ori. Thanks for keeping us on our toes. And I love it. So more to come. We have, if you want to stay engaged with us, we are on social media, on different platforms. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Keep the conversation going. We take and love all the questions and comments that come in. Maybe we should do it like an Instagram live after this to give them a backstage pass. We got to do that. We got to do that sometime. So if you follow us on Instagram, maybe you could look forward to that. I know that later on tonight at 7 Eastern, I will be on TikTok. So if you are the TikTok nation and you want to hear a little bit more about that, you want to stay engaged, look me up on TikTok and you'll find me on live at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, Dave. There you go. Thanks, Ori. Thanks for putting that up. That's me. I'll be on TikTok talking to people.
All right, we'll be trolling you.
All trolls welcome. I'll troll them back.
That's cool. That's fun.
All right. So thank you for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of What the Tech.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.